Hi, in this series of videos we're going to be looking at how to get started with SPSS syntax. So if you're interested in getting the grips with the syntax language of SPSS, or you just want a few pointers to improve your understanding of it, then this is a good place to start. Let's begin by talking about what SPSS syntax is and what it's useful for. So SPSS syntax is a command language that is unique and specific to SPSS statistics. It's basically the SPSS operating system. And the language itself is pretty old. It was developed back in the 1960s, and so it predates Windows and predates Windows and Mac versions of SPSS by some margin. Before the 1990s, users of SPSS relied on syntax manuals in order to learn how to use the software. And the syntax itself was pretty popular because it was well documented, it was relatively easy to learn, and it was characterized by plain English commands or terms that seem to make sense. So why do people use syntax? Well, one obvious reason is that you can automate procedures within SPSS. This is particularly useful, of course, if you're running analyses or preparing data on a regular basis. Let's say you're doing a monthly report or a weekly report or a quarterly report. You may well wish to actually create a syntax job which will allow you then to read that data on a regular basis but produce identical output each time, and that's obviously going to be a lot quicker than doing it manually each time. The other reason is if you've got some sort of task and it's quite repetitive in nature, maybe there's a slight difference each time you're running it, you're using a different field or a different selection of the data, then you may well find that using syntax will mean that you complete those repetitive tasks much more quickly because you can simply copy and paste it. In a similar vein, if you've created a syntax job and you make a mistake in, let's say, how you read the data or something that you do with your analysis, then it's very easy to make a slight change to the syntax and rerun the entire thing so you can update all of your output. And lastly, you might want to share your data preparation analysis with others so that they can see what you've done, and in doing so you're creating a record or an audit trail of your work. How can I generate SPSS syntax? Well, that's easy. You've probably noticed that most of the SPSS procedures that you access through dialogues have a paste button associated with them. And when you click paste rather than clicking OK, such as with this frequencies procedure here that we're running, it will open a SPSS syntax window and show you the syntax associated with that particular procedure. If you wanted to run the syntax in the syntax window, you could click on the Run menu here and simply click All, and it would run all of the syntax within that particular window. In this case, it's simply a frequencies procedure, so it generates a single frequencies table output. Just to show how that's done, if I go to Analyze, down to Descriptive Statistics, Frequencies, I'll choose the variable here, Employment Category, send that across, click Paste. It opens a SPSS syntax window for me, and then if I hit Run All, it'll run all of that syntax there, and it produces a frequency table for me.